Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. My name is Candice and this is Everything Beauty with Candice B. So today I'm getting ready to do a presentation in less than an hour. So I just decided to pull my camera out and do my makeup on camera just so I can show you guys what I do when I am presenting. I'm gonna do this as a voiceover because if I'm talking to y'all and doing my makeup, I'm not gonna make it, and I have like 45 minutes to get ready. So let's get into the makeup. So to prep my skin, I'm going to use the Kiehl's Ultra Facial Toner. I've already washed my face and I use the toner to make sure all dirt has been removed from my skin before I moisturize. Next is the Fenty Skin Fat Water Toner. This is a toner too, but it also has serum in it. It has niacinamide, so I like using that in the mornings. Next is the Tula Skincare Brightening Serum Drops. It has vitamin C, which is good for hyperpigmentation. I like to put that on after my fat water toner. And now I'm putting on my eye cream, which is by Kiehl's. It's the Creamy Avocado Eye Treatment. And I always put eye cream on day and night, just making sure my under eyes are moisturized, and I use my ring finger. For moisturizer, I'm using my Clinique Moisture Surge, and I just put a few drops all over my face. Moisturize that in, and then I'll move into SPF. For sunscreen, I use the Neutrogena Clear Face SPF 50. I wear this every day when I'm going outside. I make sure I spread a generous amount all over my face, and I'm making sure I'm covering all of my face and my neck to protect my skin from the sun. And wearing SPF also helps your dark spots not to get any darker. It gives you that white cast a little bit that black girls get, but I don't really worry about it too much because I know I'm getting ready to cover it up with some makeup. But if you're not wearing makeup that day, just keep massaging it in and that white cast will go away. For the lips, I just use some good old Vaseline. I just like to make sure I moisturize my lips before my makeup application, so when it's time to put on my lipstick, my lips are nice and plump and ready to go. Moving into primer, I'm using the Tatcha, the Liquid Silk Canvas. I've had this for a while and I just want to use it up. So I'm going to put 2 pumps into my hands and spread it all over my face. Just making sure I cover everywhere I'm going to put foundation. I'm not trying to rub it in. I'm just trying to make sure that it's in an even layer all over my face. Because primer is not a lotion. It is a primer. It's meant to sit on top of your face to protect your skin from the foundation and all of the other stuff that you're getting ready to put on. Next, I am a brows first girl, so I'm going to use the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in the shade number 5. And I usually just brush my brows up. I start by outlining the bottom of my brows, just drawing that line just so I have extra sharp brows, and then I'll go to the top, but I don't start all the way at the beginning of the brow. Start a little ways back and then draw that line outlining the top, and then I'm going to go in and fill in the brows. I'm just filling in those patches where my hair is a little sparse, so I'm just darkening that area so that my brows look nice and even. Once I fill in my brows, I'm going to brush my brows up just to move some of that product into the rest of my brows, just to make sure it all looks good. For concealer, I'm using my Urban Decay Stay Naked Concealer in the shade 70 NY, and I use a flat concealer brush to outline my brows with concealer. This just helps to clean up any areas that I messed up on with the pencil, and it makes my brows stand out and really pop. I use the same shade that I would use underneath my eyes, just really drawing that line and going really slow, not to cover up any of the pencil that I've already put into my brows. And then once I have the bottom cleaned up, I'm going to do the same at the top, just to make sure that my eyebrows look really sharp and really clean. For foundation, I'm using my NARS Soft Matte Foundation in the shade Marquises. And I just like to place the foundation on the back of my hand. I use my hand as a palette, and I dot the foundation all over my face. I do this because I don't want my sponge or my brush to soak up all of my foundation, because this stuff is expensive. So I want to make sure I'm getting my money's worth when I use my foundation. So now I'm going to use my DSMD Shop sponge and just buff all of the foundation into my skin. And I'm making sure I'm covering up all of my dark spots and all of the areas that I want coverage. I'm also not forgetting my neck and my ears. You don't want to look like you're wearing a mask when you're putting on your foundation, so make sure to bring your foundation down towards your neck so you don't see that visible line of where the foundation is. Now it's time to conceal, and I'm going back into my Urban Decay concealer, and I'm just going to place the concealer on all of the high points of my face. So I'm going to place it underneath my eyes in a small little triangular type shape. I'm also going to put it on my forehead, down the center of my nose, on my chin, and on my upper lip. So I'm just placing the concealer on all of the places where I need some extra coverage and some brightening. I also can't forget my eyelids. I use concealer on my eyelids to prep my eyes for eyeshadow. Now it's time to blend, and I start by blending out my chin and my upper lip area first, and then I'll do the center of my nose and my forehead, and it's just light tapping motions, just making sure that I'm getting rid of those lines and everything looks blended and smooth. Now I'm going to blend out my under eyes and blend out my eyelids. And as soon as I'm done blending, I'm going to put on some setting powder because my eyelids and my under eyes crease so bad and they crease really fast. So I have to move really quick when I'm doing this. For setting powder, I use the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder in the shade Honey. It's the perfect shade for my skin tone. And when I'm using this powder, I don't bake. I don't like to let the powder sit under my eyes for too long. So I kind of call it like a micro bake. So I'll sit it on my under eyes and then I'll quickly take it off. Because if you leave it on for too long, your under eyes start to look dry and textured and not smooth. I'll also put that setting powder on my eyelids, and it just helps to prime my eyes for eyeshadow. Once I have all of my powder on, I'll use a powder brush and brush it off of my face, and I'll use that excess powder to set the rest of my face. Nose contour, I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills powder bronzer in the shade Mahogany, and just using a eyeshadow brush with a very light hand, I'll run that brush on the sides of my nose just to give my nose a little bit of definition. I use bronzer instead of contour powder just because I like a warm look on my nose. Now I'm bronzing the rest of my face with the same powder, so the ABH powder in the shade Mahogany. And when I'm bronzing, I like to place the powder where I need it to be on my face, and then I'll start to buff the powder into my skin. I like a really bronzy look, so you'll see that I put the bronzer all around the perimeter of my face. And to make sure that I don't have any lines of demarcation, I just make sure that I'm buffing my face in a circular motion. Now moving into blush, and I'm using Mented today. I'm using the shade Pinky Promise, which is kind of a pinky blush, and it has a little shimmer in it, which I like because I don't really use a lot of highlighter, so it's kind of a 2-in-1. So I like to place the blush on the apples of my cheeks and kind of going up towards my temple, just to give me that light flush of pink color. Now it's time for eyeshadow, and I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way, the Natural Nudes palette. I'm using the shade Maple, and I'm going to put that color in my crease area just to help build up some color, because I'm going to put a slightly darker color on my lids. And when I'm placing my eyeshadow, I just like to use a windshield wiper motion. And now I'm going to move into the shade Coco and place that on my lids. I'm doing a very simple look today, just because I'm going to be on camera, so I don't like to be too extra. But you'll see later on that I do actually get a little extra. So it's just a very simple eyeshadow look, just using 2 colors out of that palette. For mascara, I'm using Maybelline the Falsies. It is one of my favorite drugstore mascaras. And I'm going to speed through this a little bit because y'all don't need to sit there and watch me do my mascara. If you want a natural look, go ahead and stop right here. This looks pretty good for an office appropriate look, but of course, I'm about to be extra and add a little color to my bottom lash line. So I'm using the Ace Beauty, I think it's called the Oceanic palette, and I'm just using a little pencil shader brush, and I placed that dark blue color on the bottom lash line. I just felt like I just needed something today. And now I'm using that royal blue color, and I'm putting that towards the center of my eye, just to help that dark blue fade into like a lighter blue. And now I'm going to buff it out. And as I'm buffing, I remembered I didn't even put on any liner in my waterline. So you'll see that I'm going to put some black liner on in just a second. And when I'm buffing, I'm just going back and forth, trying not to spread it everywhere. I'm trying to keep it as close to the lash line as I can. And for the liner, I'm using my Fenty Beauty Fly Pencil in the shade Cause I'm Black. And now I'm just going to put that into my waterline. I was struggling a little bit because that pencil is kind of dry. And then I just went back and buffed it in a little bit more just to make sure everything looks good and looks seamless. And now it's time to jazz it up with some lashes. I think these were Lily lashes. I lost the box to them, so I don't know the name, but they definitely were Lily lashes. So I'm actually going to show you guys how I do my lashes on camera. It's not like the best technique, but it gets the job done. So I put my glue on my lashes. I let it sit for at least 30 seconds. And then I usually will try to put my lashes on from my outside corner first, and then place the lash on towards my inner corner. And as long as your lash glue is kind of dried down a little bit, it should stick pretty good. And for eyebrows, I'm using my NYX Control Freak eyebrow gel. I love using this just to set my eyebrows in place. They can be a little bit bushy, so I love using a gel. All right, that is my look. I was feeling good. And for the lips, I'm taking off that Vaseline because I'm getting ready to put on some gloss. And I'm using my Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb Cream. I think this is the shade Cookie Jar. It's like a dark brown. I was trying to go for a pretty like neutral makeup look. And, you know, because I'm excited about fall, I just wanted like fall colors on my face. To melt all this makeup together and make it look good, I'm using my Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. I love this setting spray, y'all. I just love how the mist goes on so fine and so even. and it just makes the makeup look really good. So that's what I'm looking like. And now let's get into my hair, because I forgot to do my edges before I started my makeup, which I should have done, but it's okay. So I'm just pulling my braids down. I'm going to pull it into like a simple look, kind of a half up, half down kind of look. For edge control, I'm using the True Edge controller. I got it from the beauty supply. I don't know the brand, but if I can find it on Amazon, I will link it down below for you guys. This has been the best edge control I have ever used. It actually keeps my edges laid and in place all day long. I've tried so many other ones and they just do not work. And then that little brush I just got from the beauty supply too. And then I just like to put some little swoops around because my braids are getting a little old. So once your braids are old, just make sure your edges are laid. And that just helps the braids to just look good and last longer. And now for like 2 or 3 minutes, I'm just going to put my little edge scarf back on just to help my edges stay down while I get my office set up for my presentation. Okay, y'all, headed to the office. I literally have 2 minutes before this meeting starts. Let's get you guys set up. Get my little wrap off. I just got on my little business shirt. Business up top. Party down below.
So first up is going to be Candice. And Candice, go ahead and take it away.
All right, good morning everybody. So I'm just going to take you guys through All right, y'all, so I made it on time to my meeting. Thank you so much for getting ready with me. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel. This is the kind of content I'm bringing you every single week. Also hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.